Hi guys, my name is Festus Obi and welcome to my YouTube channel. The title of today's video is How many programming languages should you learn? How many programming languages should you know? Well, before we go into the main part of answering this question, I would like to actually answer another question, which is, should you even know more than one programming language? Should you know multiple languages? And the answer to this is, it really depends. But since my channel is mostly focused on beginners, people who are trying to, get their feet into the industry, then I would like to tell you that also, when you're learning, it depends on what stage you are on your learning and what path you're actually going for. So learning multiple programming languages from start can be both, dangerous to the speed of you learning, and at the same time, it can be good. Like I said again, it depends on what path. So if you're going for back-end development and you're starting out with Python, of course, you need to give yourself that time to learn the syntax of Python, learn the basics of programming, data structures, algorithm, and all of those stuff. But then when you're done with this, say 1 month to 6 weeks, 8 weeks even, you need to build projects. And then building projects, especially as a back-end developer, requires you to work with data. And working with data means that learning SQL is a must. And then in this particular case, you need to learn both Python and SQL. But starting out, you want to start with learning the basics of one language. And then when you get up to some stage that requires you to build something that requires multiple languages, then you could slap in something else. So for instance, for front-end development, you're learning JavaScript, but along the line, you want to work with data and stuff, and then you decide, okay, let me pick up MongoDB or something like that, NoSQL. That's really cool. Moving on to the main part of this video, guys, how many programming languages should you know? The answer to this is in two parts. So the first one is as much as you need to learn. And what this simply means is you want to be something, you want to build solutions, and building solutions simply means you need to be able to use multiple languages, multiple technologies to arrive at a particular solution that solves the problem you intend to solve. So I want to build something like Uber Eats or Bolt, for instance, or even Uber, like the taxi one, or Lyft. So this involves me to, understand that people would mostly use this on mobile devices. And if I'm going to use this, if I expect my users to work with mobile devices, then I have to put into consideration that it will be used in several types of mobile device. So that's Android, iOS, and all of those, even the web. So this would basically require me to want to build the solution using mobile development programming languages like Swift or Kotlin or stuff like that. So if I have the money, obviously, to pay people to do this, then I don't actually have to stress myself doing it. But if this is something I want to be able to build myself alone, then that will require me going deeper, going neck deep, and being able to pick up all of these technologies myself and building it myself. Again, bringing it back to something really common like web development, for instance, we do understand that in web development, there are people who are called full stack developers. So wanting to be a full stack developer might require me to know multiple programming languages, simply because, again, I probably would want to be working with multiple programming languages. So there is a route, of course, where you could work with one. An example, in the JavaScript world, you probably will be working with, say, something like Node.js for your back end and maybe React.js for the front end. But what about using Python for the back end and JavaScript for the front end? As you can see, this would require me to know multiple programming languages. Simply put, if I intend to work for myself, build solutions for myself, be a freelancer, and be able to take up something from 0 to 100, then obviously what that means is I want to be able to pick up all the skills needed to do the job. Now, moving on to the second one is you need to know as many programming languages as your employer needs. What does this mean? So basically, you want to work for Netflix as a front-end developer. The first thing that is advisable for you to do is go to job listings that Netflix puts up for you to be able to like look at the technologies they need and polish up your resume to look exactly like what they require in a front-end developer. Same for full stack, back-end, game development, mobile development, and all of those. So the one thing you have to bear in mind is in getting ready to provide a resume or portfolio that matches a particular job listing is you don't want to jump into the rabbit hole of doing this for every company, because being honest, some recruiters are just dumb. In that there are companies who just, you know, the expectations are just unrealistic. So simply put, long story cut short, on point 2, you want to learn something that you would be needing for your job. In most cases, there are companies who require that the front-end developers know some SQL. There are companies who don't. So if you want to work for a company that does, then you just have to learn it, as that is part of the job. So guys, it doesn't matter if you know 1 or 2 or 3. What matters is what you want to build. So you want to build solutions by yourself from beginning to end, and obviously you need multiple programming languages in some cases. You want to work for a company for a particular job role, and you have to bear in mind that there might be a reason, there might be a need for you to know multiple programming languages. Really freezing here. For some weird reason, there are people, parents and kids in the background looking at me like some, you know, it's really uncomfortable. So let's switch up the location. Whoa, it's Saturday and there are so many people in the park here, so I had to leave that place to come here. All right, so let's wrap up this video because it's getting really long and I'm freezing to death. So if you are a beginner, then you need to stick with learning with one programming language. And then later, when you become really ambitious and hope to, you know, get that startup up and running, then you might need to pick up multiple skills to build up one thing. But picking up multiple programming languages doesn't really hurt. So it's just a necessity you might need somewhere along the line. And that's it for today, guys. See you next week. Thank you for watching.